Emotional numbness. It's a term that gets thrown around a lot, isn't it? We hear it in conversations, we read it in articles, we see it in movies. But what does it really mean? It's like walking through life with a foggy lens, where everything feels muted, dulled, and distant. You might be surrounded by people, laughter, and love, yet somehow it feels like you're watching it all from behind a glass wall. You can see it, you can hear it, but you can't touch it. You can't feel it. It's a strange existence, one that many of us slip into without even realizing it. So let's talk about the signs, the unmistakable indicators that you might be experiencing this emotional numbness. First, there's the lack of joy. Remember the last time you felt genuinely happy? Not just a fleeting moment of amusement, but that deep, resonant joy that fills your chest and makes you feel alive? For many, it becomes a distant memory. You find yourself going through the motions, too, smiling when you're supposed to, laughing at jokes that don't quite land, but inside, there's this emptiness. It's like a black hole where happiness used to reside. You scroll through social media, seeing friends celebrating milestones, and instead of feeling happy for them, there's just this dull ache, a reminder of what you're missing. You start to wonder if you'll ever feel that way again. Then there's the disconnection from others. You might be in a room full of people, yet you feel completely alone. Conversations feel superficial, and you struggle to engage. It's as if you're wearing a mask, nodding along, but inside, you're screaming for someone to notice that you're not really there. You might find yourself avoiding social situations altogether, preferring the solitude of your own company. It's safer that way, isn't it? No expectations, no need to pretend, but deep down, you crave connection. You want to feel that spark of camaraderie, yet it feels just out of reach. Another sign is the inability to cry. Tears are a natural response to pain, joy, frustration, and love. But when you're emotionally numb, those tears become trapped. You might feel the weight of the world on your shoulders, but the release that comes from crying is elusive. You might find yourself watching a sad movie, waiting for that familiar swell of emotion, but nothing comes. It's frustrating, isn't it? You want to feel something, anything, but all you get is silence. It's as if your heart has built a fortress, and no emotion is allowed to breach its walls. And then there's the apathy towards life. The things that once excited you, the hobbies you loved, the dreams you had, they all start to fade into the background. You wake up each day, and it feels like a chore. You go to work, you fulfill your responsibilities, but there's no passion behind it. You might even find yourself wondering why you're doing it at all. The future feels bleak, and the idea of making plans seems pointless. You've lost that sense of wonder, that spark that makes life feel vibrant and full of possibilities. Instead, it's just a series of days blending into one another, a monotonous cycle that feels never-ending. Another clear sign is the difficulty in expressing emotions. You might find yourself at a loss for words when it comes to discussing how you feel. It's as if the vocabulary of emotion has been stripped away, leaving you with a few dull phrases that don't quite capture the depth of what you're experiencing. You might say you're fine when asked how you are, even when you're anything but. It's easier to keep it simple, to avoid the probing questions that come with vulnerability. But inside, there's a tempest of feelings swirling around, and you wish you could articulate it, wish you could share it, but the words just won't come. Let's not forget the physical symptoms that often accompany emotional numbness. You might experience fatigue, headaches, or even a sense of heaviness in your chest. It's as if your body is mirroring the emotional state of your mind. You might find yourself sleeping more than usual, or conversely, struggling to sleep at all. Your body is tired, worn out from carrying the weight of unexpressed emotions. You might even notice changes in your appetite, either eating too much in a desperate attempt to fill the void or losing your appetite altogether. It's a vicious cycle, one that feeds into the numbness, making it even harder to break free. Another sign is the tendency to engage in risky behaviors. When you're numb, you might seek out thrills in an attempt to feel something, anything. It could be anything from reckless driving to substance use, or even engaging in toxic relationships. It's a desperate grasp at feeling alive, at breaking through the fog that has settled over your life. But these actions often lead to more pain, more emptiness, and the cycle continues. You might find yourself in situations that you know are unhealthy, yet there's a part of you that craves the chaos, the adrenaline, anything to remind you that you're still here, still breathing. There's also the pervasive sense of guilt or shame that often accompanies emotional numbness. You might feel guilty for not being able to connect with others, for not feeling the way you think you should. You see others experiencing joy, love, and excitement, and you wonder why you can't feel the same. It's a heavy burden to carry, this sense of inadequacy, and it can lead to a downward spiral. You might isolate yourself further, convinced that you're a burden to those around you, that your numbness is something to be ashamed of. But the truth is, it's a response to pain, a coping mechanism that has taken hold, and it's not something to be ashamed of. Finally, there's the overwhelming sense of hopelessness. When you're emotionally numb, it can feel like there's no way out, no light at the end of the tunnel. You might find yourself questioning your worth, your purpose, and whether things will ever get better. It's a dark place to be, one that can lead to despair and even thoughts of self-harm. You might feel trapped in your own mind, longing for a way out but unsure of how to escape. It's a heavy weight to bear, and it can feel insurmountable at times. So, what do you do when you recognize these signs within yourself? Acknowledgement is the first step. It's important to recognize that emotional numbness is a real experience, one that many people face, and it doesn't make you weak or flawed. It's a response to life's challenges, a way of coping with pain that has become maladaptive. From there, seeking help can be transformative. Whether it's talking to a trusted friend, a therapist, or a support group, sharing your experience can help lift the weight of isolation. You don't have to go through this alone. There are people who care and want to help you navigate through the fog. Engaging in self-care is also crucial. It might feel difficult at first, but finding small ways to nurture yourself can make a difference. It could be as simple as taking a walk in nature, journaling your thoughts, or exploring creative outlets. These activities can help you reconnect with your emotions and begin to break down the walls that have been built around your heart. It's a gradual process, one that requires patience and kindness towards yourself. Lastly, remember that healing is not linear. There will be good days and bad days, moments of clarity and moments of confusion. It's all part of the journey. Embrace the small victories. Celebrate the moments when you feel even a flicker of joy, and allow yourself to grieve the emotions that have been locked away. You are not alone in this, and there is hope for a brighter tomorrow. The fog may be thick now, but with time, support, and self-compassion, you can find your way back to feeling fully alive again.